Hey everybody, what is going on? This is Lance Tomashiro, and we are super excited that you are here with us today because what we are going to show you is literally going to change the way that people are doing business on the internet right now. What we're going to show you is a way that, we've made changes to this little tiny project that started out almost a year ago now, and it's turned into basically a labor of love for us, where we are constantly making this product better. We are constantly looking at new ways that you guys can profit from it. And what we're going to show you today is going to be a way that every one of you can leave right now and start making money with Backup Creator starting today, literally. So if you guys are ready, if you guys can hear us, this is an absolutely packed house. Find that question box so that we can talk to you during this presentation and type in "oh yeah" so that you can hear us, so that we know that you're ready and you're ready to learn something that is going to absolutely blow you away and change the way that you look at your online business. So with that being said, Robert, thank you for putting this together for us. I cannot wait to show these people the features that we are now adding to Backup Creator and unveiling this brand new edition.
Oh, thanks so much. You're too kind. So yeah, we're talking about this thing called Backup Creator, and when I first heard about this, whole thing about, you can back up WordPress, do this with WordPress, I kind of thought, oh yeah, well, so what? That's not really that cool, is it? And this guy wanted me to make a backup plugin. This was almost a year ago, and I said, all right, sure, I'll get to it. I got some other stuff to do. But once I made it, once people started using it, now we finally kind of realized, holy crap, there's a lot more to this than just backups, and we want to talk about all of that today. And if you think about it, I don't know if you guys have heard about this whole idea of, like, oh, get this software and it generates money, and click the button and it spits out $5,000, and if you want more money, just run the software again. I don't know if you've heard of that or not, and I thought that was always kind of silly. That's ridiculous. But what the real secret is that there's software that really just shortcuts the amount of time it takes for you to do stuff. If you even think about the call we're on today, well, we're broadcasting this live thing over GoToWebinar. We're presenting on this thing here called PowerPoint. We're recording this thing on Camtasia. We have all these tools. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you use some of them sometimes and sometimes not, but you use these tools and it just shortcuts it, and it makes it so that you can make the same amount of money quicker or even more money quicker. So we're going to talk about this technique that we use sometimes to make $50 in a few minutes, sometimes to make $1,000 in a few minutes. And I know that some of you guys are already thinking, oh, only $1,000? But one thing I want to kind of put in your head just at the start of this is that $1,000 is $1,000. So can I just ask you guys in the question box right now, is $1,000 a lot of money? Just type in yes or type in no. Is $1,000, 1,000 US big ones, is it a lot of money? I'm saying yes. Pretty much everyone says yes. And well, I guess it just depends, right? Because if someone said, well, I'm going to give you $1,000 for a year of your time. Well, shoot. Well, now that's not a lot. If someone says, I want to give you $1,000 for a month. Well, now you're thinking, okay, well, that's cool on top of the money I'm already getting. Now, if someone says, can you make $1,000 in an hour, in a few minutes? Well, now that really adds up. So don't knock $1,000. Let's talk about, well, where is your next $1,000 coming from? Or if you needed $1,000 in a hurry, where would you get it? And we're going to be showing this thing today, and we're going to use this tool called WordPress, and I'm going to set up a timer, and I'm going to show you this free software demo in exactly 17 minutes from now. I'm going to use this tool called WordPress, and if you guys have used this tool, WordPress, you can go in the question box right now and type in, let's just make it simple, type in WP. So you guys have all seen WordPress sites, and we just bring up one right now. Let me bring up mine. Okay, we're at plank.com. This is one of my websites. It's a blog. You guys have all seen blogs like this. Let me bring up a site like backupcreator.com right there. And this is also a site powered by this thing called WordPress. So who hasn't used it? Well, everyone's heard of it. Everyone's used it. And you can pretty much make any kind of site you want. And more often than not, now when someone makes a site, whether it's a blog, like a journal, or it's even like a site where something's for sale, or it's a site where someone has some kind of like an opt-in form or video, it's all pretty much made with WordPress. And I would go as far to say that's the first platform that makes FTP obsolete. You don't have to worry anymore about moving files up to your server, worry about databases. Just click a few buttons, and suddenly if you want to change the way this looks, Click a button, now the design has changed. Click a button, now the video has changed. If you want to set up, the example I always go to is Lance has this site, a dentist site he's working on selling to a local dentist, and you wouldn't know that this is a blog, but it has different kinds of pages, different kinds of stuff, and there's no way, I mean, for you guys who know Lance, there's no way Lance could actually have designed any of this, but he just clicks a few buttons and knows which buttons to click on, knows which buttons not to click on, and it's all done using this tool called WordPress, and it pretty much shortcuts weeks, months, years that you otherwise would have had to spend, making this graphic, making these pages, making this stuff, messing around with the font, making everything look perfect. Now someone else has done all the work for you, and someone says, no FTP, I'm listening, right? And so it's really cool to not have to worry about so many technical things. Just click this screen, click that screen. If I want to, for some reason, add a forum to my website, don't have to worry about which one's the best, or worry about should I upload this or should I have someone code that. Click a button, install a plugin, and it's on there. If I want to change my design from the dentist office to have a bunch of blue stuff, click one button and the whole look of the site has changed. And there are a whole $1 million businesses built on this. Like there's this thing called WooCommerce where people can take payments. There's a thing called Wishlist where you can actually serve up products. There's different kinds of people who sell $300, $500 WordPress themes. And even Lance and I have now almost sold, Backup Creator is powering almost 20,000 websites, and it's backing up people's websites and making it easy for them to install it. So if you want to make good looking websites and do them fast and have them do what you want, have all the functionality, all the content, all the pages, you don't have to worry anymore about getting it made from scratch. Just know which theme to get, which plugin to do. And I mean, if you think about it, if you went to someone and said, I want you to code something like this, to make this with the logo, to make this and this and this, I could see someone asking for $500 on the low end. I could see someone asking for a couple $1,000 on the high end. Same thing with kind of a dentist site. And if you were going to ask them, well, I want to have the ability to log in and change anything I want, and to be able to drip out content, have categories, have all that stuff. Now you're talking in the thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. But now that you know about this tool WordPress, then you can just get the right theme, put in your graphic, and it's all done. So this thing WordPress, I mean, it's for blogs, it's for like local business sites, membership sites, for sales letters, e-commerce sites. And I don't want to focus too much on this, but I was looking at how many people use this platform. And I was looking at, okay, 10 million downloads here, 9 million, 15 million. And in the past year, this software has been downloaded 64 million times. That's like the size of a country, right? So I know that some people, they were on a certain version upgraded, but pretty much 64 million downloads for this thing called WordPress, which allows you to set up a site quickly and maintain it. And so many sites on the internet now are moving off of normal web pages onto this thing called WordPress. So that's all great, but how does it relate to you? Well, let me ask you a real quick question. What if you lost everything? Okay, what if you lost, first of all, your monthly income? What if you lost all your websites? But your bills, those did not go away. You still had to pay some bills. Well, what would you do if you needed 30 days, or if you had 30 days to get it all back? Well, you'd have to go and set up some websites, right? You'd have to set up some websites maybe to sell some stuff on your own, or probably more likely, if you're in a hurry, to get it set up for someone else. I know that's how I got started, how Lance got started, how many of you on this call got started, by setting up a website for someone else. And I want you guys to pay really close attention to this, because we're going to be actually involving many of you on this call right now in a few minutes. So if you have 30 days to just get your monthly income back, well, what would you do? Well, are you going to spend a year recording a bunch of videos thinking about, well, let me make a monthly membership site? Probably not, right? Are you going to spend a year agonizing over this perfect book? I'm going to edit it, going to get it proofread, add graphics? Probably not. Or are you going to find something that someone needs and get paid for it? Where are you going to do that part, right? You're going to figure out, okay, well, I know someone who has a local business who needs a website, or who needs a better website. Or I'm going to go to a message board talking about WordPress membership sites, and I'm going to say, okay, well, you guys are all talking about membership sites, but I'll actually get it installed for you. Maybe you charge $500, maybe you charge $1,000. Let's say I know a couple of people who charge $4,000. You know what they do? They install WordPress, they install a theme, they install a membership plugin, and they set up. I think they set up like a paid level. They set up a free level, and they set up a couple of sample posts, and that's it. Sample posts. They don't do any of the content, they don't do the marketing, they just get it set up and they say, here you go, now I've saved you a couple months worth of fooling around, and it was well worth you to pay $4,000 because you would have spent tons of extra time. You would have been pretty much doing nothing for the next few months, so you put the money into it, I got it set up for you, and now it's all taken care of. So how does this all relate? How does this relate to making money from scratch? How does this relate to for you guys using a backup plugin? Well, the first thing that you're going to want to do is just to make sure that you don't lose everything. I mean, can you guys agree with me on that? It's a good thing for you to keep what you have. It's a good thing for you to keep the monthly income you have, keep the websites you have, so that you don't have to start from scratch at any point in the future. You can just slowly build up. So it's really important to just back up and secure your website. So I'm going to show you this email from this guy Lewis. Not sure if he's on the call. If you're on the call, Lewis, can you raise your hand? But he says he uses Backup Creator to back up his site. So if he needs to install a new site, doesn't have to think about it, just hit the one button, now it's backed up. He doesn't have to worry if anything happens, it's just taken care of. He spent a couple of seconds clicking the one button, and now if the site ever goes down for any reason whatsoever, well, now he's going to be really glad that he spent those 2 seconds to save months or years of lost work, of lost websites. This guy Rob says he's doing something really wild, really exciting, really riveting. He's backing up his WordPress sites. We've got this guy Randy, and he backs up his sites so that he can sleep at night. He doesn't have to worry about any of the crazy stories. I mean, maybe his web host will go out of business. Maybe the hard drive will crap out. I mean, that happens every single day, multiple times on different web hosts. You just don't hear about it. And sometimes the hard drive can't even be recovered. Maybe he might mess something up. Maybe he might get hacked, knock on wood. But whatever happens, he's backed up his site, he's saved it to his hard drive, and now he doesn't have to worry about that ever again. This guy Graham, well, he makes sure every single week to log in and back up his website, back up the theme, back up the plugins, back up all the modifications, the blog comments, all that stuff, so that all the traffic that comes to his site, they can keep coming to his site, they can keep reading his content, they can keep opting in, they can keep buying from him, and if anything happens, doesn't even matter what it is, he can rebuild it from that copy he made, and now he put in a couple seconds to save months of lost work down the road. We've got this guy James. He says he set up one site and he configured it exactly the way he wanted it, and now when he makes a new site, now it's already finished. And this is going to be a recurring theme we're going to be showing you and talking about today, is getting a site configured exactly the way you want it. I mean, if you have a site, are you going to be setting it up with this theme, or with this theme, or with this theme? I mean, it's up to you, and everyone does it differently. Are you going to have this SEO plugin, or that security plugin, or maybe none of the above? Maybe you're just going to set it up, keep it real simple, but any way you have it, we all have our own way of setting up our site. And I know that Lance and I, when we have a new product for sale or a new membership site, it's really a pain in the butt to download all the files, copy them all over, download the database, move it over, and then I used to actually have to go in and edit the database and go and find this little spot and this little spot. It used to take literally hours to make a copy of a site somewhere else, and because I didn't want to start from scratch, right? It always sucks to start from a blank WordPress page and say, let me go and grab this plugin, let me grab this plugin, check this box, type in this, add this theme. It's no fun to start from scratch. It's way easier to have it exactly the way we want it, put it somewhere else, and then we can move on from there. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we're moving towards, but the first thing you got to do is first back it up. And so what you do, and the way that people have been using our plugin is, well, they'll back it up over here, on the first website, and they'll go to a new website where they want to make an exact copy, and then they'll do what we call a restore. Hopefully you guys have heard these kinds of words before. You back up the site, put it somewhere else and restore, and now you've put this exact copy, exact clone you could call it, of the site. And so you might take this dentist site and put it somewhere else, and now you have a copy of it. And if we want to change stuff, change the graphic, change the name, change any of the content, we can, but it's off on a brand new site. So you can back up sites on your own, but we're talking about today making instant cash flow, making instant money. Well, if you can back up sites for yourself, you can back up sites for other people too. The difference is just you click the same button, you just click the button on a different site. So Hugh says he backs up his own site, but he also, when he gets hired by someone else, he backs up their site as well. And that means that if someone pays him to set up a membership site, maybe he'll put in WordPress, put in the plugin, configure it, and then say, okay, here you go, now here's a backup of it so that you'll never lose it. This guy Lewis says he backs up his sites and his client sites, and I mean, it sounds complicated, but you just hit a button and now it's backed up. Andrew, same exact deal, back up client sites and back up his own sites as well. So we have about 4 minutes, and would you guys like it if I kind of cut ahead and showed you some of this software early? Would that be good? If it's good, type in the word good, G-O-O-D, in the question box right now, because we have this software called Backup Creator, and today's the day that we are going to be releasing Backup Creator Ultimate. This is the brand new version. We've actually been testing this for several months, and we're kind of at the point now where we need to release it because so much stuff has changed. So we're going to be showing you this really cool plugin called Backup Creator Ultimate. And I guess what better place to do it than on this really cool dentist site that everyone here seems to like. So I'm going to go here to Dentist in Orem, Utah. I'm going to be logging in to this site right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make an exact copy of this site. So let me move some stuff out of the way here. So we've got this Dentist in Orem, Utah site, and the only thing that you really need to know about WordPress is plugins add new, to be honest. So we're in WordPress, we go to plugins add new, and I'm going to be uploading this plugin called Backup Creator. So I'm going to just really quickly go to this Backup Creator plugin. Let me find it here, Backup Creator, and install. So once again, we're not doing any FTP, we're not using any programs other than our browser. Oops, it looks like this is already on here. 1 second, technical difficulties. Okay, so we don't have to even leave our browser. If we were doing this on an iPhone, on an iPad, we're just doing this without any extra software. So plugins, add new, upload. And I'm going to be putting this file here online. So upload plugin, activate plugin, and so we're going to use this thing called Backup Creator. Give me a second, let me actually pause the screen and log in. And we're now back, and we're at this thing called Backup Creator Ultimate, and it's really simple. We just say, I want to back up the site, click back up the site, and it's done. So we can say, click back up the site, and I could probably time this, but it usually takes about took about 3 seconds to back up the site. And now everything can now be found. Let me just bring up my window here. If I go back to backups here, basically we click on this one little link here, and we can save an exact copy of this website to our hard drive. So I click this one button, okay. And now we can see that we have about 6 seconds left. And once this is finished, we bring up the, where did I put it? Put it on my desktop, I think. So let me call that up. So here we go. So here's my desktop. And right now we have this file, and this contains our exact WordPress site. So anytime I need to put a copy of it, I just use this file to do it. So right now we have this backup, and I can just go into my cPanel, and I'm going to really quickly set up a new WordPress site. Just show you how easy this is. So let me just skip through this one part and get a WordPress site set up. So let me set up WordPress. I'm going to make a new blog, And let's just call this, so this was a dentist in Orem, Utah. Let's call this dentist. Okay? And I'm going to fill this in. I'm going to pause the screen again to fill out a password. Screen should be back. I'm going to log in. I'm going to be typing in a password I just made up. And now we're on a brand new WordPress site, right? Membershipnewbie.com. And we can even just rename this and call it like Dr. Lance Tomashiro Dentist. Let's just say he was a dentist. I don't recommend impersonating a dentist, but let's just say this was his brand new site. So brand new site, nothing on it. And what we can do is, once again, we can say plug in, or we can go to Backup Creator and say I want to download the installer file. So I backed up a site, and now we can go back here to the dashboard, and we're going to be putting in a putting this in. So we're going to say, let me find Backup Creator. Let me install this. And sometimes they'll ask you for the FTP password, but you just fill in the password. You don't have to know any new software for this. So once again, cool. So notice how we're at membershipnewbie.com/dentist, but it's filled in already this other link, this other URL. And so now it's already, I can just click on Restore from URL, click on Restore from Backup, and now by clicking one button, now let's see what it's going to do. It's going to be grabbing that whole backup from the dentist in Orem, Utah site. So it's going to be grabbing everything on here and copying it over to our new site and then setting it all up. And so once again, look at that. It's already done. And on average, it once again takes us under 30 seconds to copy the whole thing over and set it up as an exact copy. And now we're on membershipnewbie/dentist, and we can go to I guess we have to log back in here using the same password I just made up. And we can go to the options, and you can set everything up. We can say, all right, I want the header. I can change the graphic here. I want to make my business name be Dr. Lance Tomashiro, all that stuff. And now we can go over back to this membership newbie/dentist site. Here we go, Dr. Lance Tomashiro. But notice how the old site's still there. We just made a copy and then did the things that we wanted to do to it. So that is Backup Creator. Many of you guys use it, and honestly, I want to know who here uses it and who here doesn't use it. So can you go ahead, and the screen should have changed, and you should see a blue screen, the good kind, and you can say either yes, I use Backup Creator, or no, I do not use Backup Creator yet, and then click on the submit button so we can see what your answers are. We're going to keep the polls open for a couple more seconds. It's really important that you vote so we can get back to this and see what everyone said. And so we're going to leave it open for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So it looks like about 56% of you use Backup Creator. So we're at close to half and half. So I'm glad to have you guys on here. So some of you guys have seen this, some of you guys haven't. So I'm glad that we're all now caught up, we're all on the same page as far as, well, what you can do with this. And I'm going to actually go in here into the dentist site once again, and I'm going to delete this backup since we're done with it now. Okay, so delete that backup, and now it's out of there. So you guys have all seen this whole thing where you can click one button to back up a site, and then click another button to restore it. That's all there is that you need to know starting off. Back it up or restore from URL. So many people have been using that, first of all, to back up their own site, and then also to set it up somewhere else. Now, set it up if you want to make a brand new copy of this dentist site, or if you go to another local dentist and say, can I set this exact thing up for you? Then we change the name, change the address, change a couple things, but you saved yourself hours or days just to get yourself right back to that little part. So many of you guys use Backup Creator, and there's already things in the question box, people asking about this thing called automatic backups. So not only are you guys asking about automatic backups, but this guy here in the picture, the shirtless guy, is asking about it as well. So why am I showing you a picture of a shirtless guy? Well, this guy, when Lance and I were speaking in Thailand, he is one of the guys on staff with this organization, and he took his shirt off and he pounded his chest, stomped the floor, and did some kind of like a football dance, I think, called the haka. And I mean, you don't want to mess with this guy. All right, like this guy. I mean, he's got huge muscles, and he shouted, and he was all scary. You don't want to be on the receiving end. You don't want to piss him off. So having said that, he also sets up WordPress sites. You couldn't tell because of the shirtlessness, but okay. Oh, rugby. Sorry, it's a rugby thing. It's a rugby dance from New Zealand. See, I'm glad we have people from all locations to help me out here. So this guy sets up WordPress sites, and he said to me, "Well, what I want to be able to do is go to a local business, because in Australia there's a lot of local businesses that are not yet set up online. He wants to set up WordPress for them, and then as part of his ongoing service, every week back up their site, and then have the backup emailed to him as an attachment." And I just thought, well, now I'm starting to get it. So first of all, back up, but then also clone to a new site, and then finally, he wants to be able to automatically send it off via email, via email, whatever. So what we can do now is we have so Ultimate, we now have a settings tab. And here's what we can do. We can say automatically backup every week on Tuesday at noon. Pretty cool, right? We can say automatically backup every day at 8 in the morning. So every day you come to your computer, come to your website, come to your email at 8 in the morning, and now your site has been backed up. So it's one thing to back up your site automatically, but he said, I also want this to be emailed to me as an attachment. So you can say automatically back this up, and maybe we only want to keep one automatic backup on the server or something. But now, send it to me, and how about we send it to me as an attachment? So maybe I want to have this site every day at 8 in the morning, get backed up, and then email me as attachment. And how about even delete it off the server? So back it up, send it to me in email, delete it off of this server, so that now, even if I get hacked, I still have a copy because it's in my email. So let's try this. I click on one button, save and back up now, and what it's done is we have now backed up the site, and here it's sent an attachment to me over email, and it's also deleted it off the server so it doesn't take up space, and if anyone gets to it, well, they can't get to the exact backup. So it'll take probably about 30 seconds for Gmail to get caught up to date. So I'm going to open up my Gmail, but while that's coming up, will we put the shirtless guy away? Barbara says she hasn't put it on all of her blogs yet, but she wants to have this run automatically, so she sets it and forgets it. Now, no matter what, every day, every week, it gets backed up, put in a safe place. Adam says he's backing it up, but he wants to be able to not have to log in and click the button. Clicking a button's too much work for him. He wants it to run automatically. Kevin says, well, he lost a server last year to a hacker. It's not happening again, but he wants this to automatically work. So this isn't something I made up. People want to use this. And if we search my Gmail, here we go. It's already back. Looks like we have a backup complete. And so it says we've backed up dentist in Orem, Utah. And here we go. Now the file is attached to this email. And if I don't need this, I can just delete it. Goes in the trash. It's done. But now if I want to save this to my local hard drive, if I want to keep this in my email, now it's all there. And according to the options, or the settings, I'm sorry, we can have it keep this on here, so we can run the backup every day and keep every single automatic backup. We can say only keep the most 5 recent backups. You can do anything you want, but the idea here is that no matter what you do, it backs up your site, sends you an email, and now it's better to have it than to not, right? If you need to delete it later on, you can, but now if you needed to get back to it, then you could. So that's what we're talking about right now, is recovering from hackers. So Danny says he's already recovered one hacked site. And I don't know if that was a site he's had for several years. I mean, WordPress is what, 5, 6, 7 years old now? So some of you guys have sites that have been out there for several years, and you have link backs. I mean, I know I have traffic coming in from articles I wrote in 2004. And if my site went down, well, I couldn't possibly put all the pages back up in the same place they were at. And in that time I get de-indexed, all that stuff. So it's so worth it to just click the one button, back it up, put it somewhere else, even automatically, so that if you get hacked, I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen, but if it did happen, no big deal, you can get it all backed. Donna, who I know I saw her for sure on the call, had 5 blogs hacked in December, and she made sure to back up, made sure to download, and was able to get it all back. So pretty cool, right? To be able to have a blog, and even if the worst happens, hopefully it doesn't happen to you, but you can get it all back. So let me just show you another real cool thing that we're doing with Backup Creator. Let me just log into a different site over here, and hopefully I have the login for this. Let me just log in really quickly. And once again, let me make sure Backup Creator is not in here. Okay, it is. Let me just delete it real quick. So once again, we've been saying the only thing you need to know about WordPress pretty much is just plugins add new. So let me give this a second. So we can go to, once again, plugins add new. So upload this new plugin, and we're going to put Backup Creator back on this site, install now, and then let that finish, activate plugin. So now we have this Backup Creator plugin. Okay, and give me a second. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're back. And so let's say I was going to back up this Newbie Crusher site. So I once again click on back up this site, and take about 5 seconds. Site's backed up. I'm going to download this, and then I'm just going to go in here and give it a second and delete the backup. So backup is gone. And there we go. Backup's been deleted. So let's say I want to go back to this dentist site, and I just happen to have a site that was hacked or went down or something. I can go to, I think I need to put Backup Creator back in again. We're getting really good at this whole plugins add new thing, aren't we? So I'm going to go here, going to put Backup Creator back in here real quick. Activate plugin. And do I have to pause my screen again? Oh, no, it's back in here. So let's say that, well, my site got hacked and I happen to have the file on my hard drive. I can just do this, restore from file upload, and then I can find, well, it names it based on where we backed it up from, so I can see this is the backup from newbiecrusher.com/blog. So click on that, restore from backup, and if you look at the bottom of our screen here, we can see uploading 15%, 17%, and we give this a few seconds. And in seconds now, we've put the backup back onto this site, once again, without having to learn any new programs, without having to learn FTP. We just use our web browser. If you can use a web browser, if you can surf the web, if you can click on stuff, then you can back up and restore and clone websites. So here we go. And so now the file is on there. It'll take a few more seconds for it to fully set up. And so remember, this was the dentist site, membership newbie/dentist, which if we go back to the restored blog, if everything worked okay, it still has the same name if I have to change that, but it has now all the content from all this blog. Remember how the site used to look, I don't have it open anymore, but it used to look like this dentist in Orem, Utah site. Right? It used to look like this, and all we do is we put in Backup Creator, click the button to upload the file, and now boom, now we've deployed this entire site on here. So I really wanted to show you that part of it because many people have been telling us they've been using backup software as what's called a staging area. And that sounds like kind of a funny term, like, oh, am I like a theater major now? I'm in like a community play. Well, no. This means that this guy James, well, he had a site. Let me get my marker real quick. So this guy James, let's say he had a website, right? And he made a backup, made a backup, made a backup. His site broke at some point, and he said, okay, here we go. I've got my backup. I'm going to put it back on the site. So, I mean, just think about that. When you write a Word document, maybe if those of you who work on web pages, you save as you go, right? Because we've all had that time when we accidentally closed the program or the computer crashed, or we thought we saved it and we didn't, and we lost all our work. So how about you just put on Backup Creator, and if you want to do like an automatic backup, that's cool. But how about every time before you do an update, or you make a huge change, or you add a new piece of content, before you change themes, before you add a new plugin, before you do anything major, just back it up just in case. So if you're like James here and you accidentally destroyed your whole site, use Backup Creator, put it back on, and now it's fully functional. Now it's working again. What about with Kyle? Best backup system he's used, and here we go. If he does anything drastic, anything significant, well then he can back it up, get it back when he wants. But here's something, remember I told you we'd see this over and over again, is that people are setting up their blog the way they want it. maybe with some already existing sample content, maybe with some special themes, special plugins, and then they are backing it up and then putting it somewhere else. I mean, for example, let's say that this, so where were we at before? We were at Newbie Crusher /blog. Okay? So maybe I had this Newbie Crusher /blog site, and I liked the way I had the plugins, the theme, the background, and I wanted to have a copy of this site to start from. But maybe I didn't want to have all this extra duplicate content, let's say. What I would do, well, I would back up newbiecrusher.com/blog, and remember how we restored this on membership newbie/dentist, and then I could go into membership newbie/dentist, and I'm not sure if oh yeah, it's the same password we've always been using, right? So, one second. Let me log in here. So I have this exact copy of our original site, right? And I can go in, and let me open this up. So we've got membership newbie/dentist, and we can add this plugin here. Once again, if you know plugins add new, you can do everything you want. There's a plugin called bulk delete. So I'm going to type that in, bulk delete, and install it. And then what we'll be able to do is just wipe all the content. So we'll be able to keep the design, the themes, the plugins. But then we go to bulk delete, and we say, well, I want to delete everything in every category. Okay, so let's just delete permanently, bulk delete. Make sure we're on the right site so we don't delete the wrong site here. Give that a second, refresh. And here we go. Now everything is kind of wiped clean, but we keep all of our customizations. Now we can just start, not from scratch, but start from the starting point we want. So we have our theme, our customizations, our design. Now we start doing what we want. Okay, pretty cool stuff. Amin, and I know for sure I saw Amin on this call, he has moved a site from one to another. He sets up thesis, goes to this menu, this menu, this menu, sets it all up, adds AdSense blocks, adds links, disclaimer pages, plugins, and so it would have taken him 45 seconds per site, but now 10 seconds, 30 seconds, now it's all finished. David Fitch, I'm not sure, I didn't see his name on here, but he is an elderly law attorney from the Midwest. I've seen him a few times around, and he backs up a large membership site with graphics, with videos, and he can just set up a clone. Now here's something that gets me really excited, is that some of these guys like David, they'll go into a local business just like the way Sene does, and he'll show them what things will look like. So he'll say, okay, well, I want to set up a site, a dentist site just like this with your name on it, and he can have his iPad open or his laptop and go click, click, click. Now it's done. And so now I want to show you a really cool thing we've just added into Backup Creator Ultimate that's going to blow you away and make this way, way easier. So we go to Backup Creator, and so you can back up, but one thing I haven't really shown you in the settings besides automatic backup, emailing backup, is this really cool thing called FTP backup. And this means you can back up a site and put it up somewhere in the cloud, and maybe even have a library of different kinds of sites. Like maybe you can have one site that's like a restaurant theme, one site that's a doctor's office theme, one site that's like a therapist theme, and then be able to just say, all right, I'm going to see a therapist, I'm going to grab the therapist theme, the therapist plugins, the therapist site, boom, put it all online. So let me just real quickly set up a FTP account, and don't pay attention to what I'm doing here. This is just some site setup stuff. So I'm going to make an FTP account. I'm going to call this backup. I'm going to make up a password for this. And sure, let's just create an FTP account. So I'm going to create this account. This is where I can basically store the backup off-site. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say I want to back up this to membership newbie. I'm going to set this up at that password, and let me just see where this will take me. Let me just save that so I don't lose it. Okay, so there's nothing in this folder. I'm just going to save it right in this folder up to FTP. So once again, if I back it up normally, if I do automatic backup, either way, what it's going to do here is it's backed up, and see how it's uploading this up to our FTP server. Okay, and so if I bring this up real quickly, I know you don't have to know any kind of extra programs, but if we happen to look here, this is at membership newbie. Let me just check the folder, make sure everything's there. If we go to our backup folder, we can see, whoops, let me fix this real quick. Gotta love technical difficulties. So if we look here, we can see that it has uploaded this backup to this other folder. And check this out. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to run the backup again. So backup now. And saving up to the FTP server. Give it 2 seconds to finish. And if we actually refresh here, see how it's, as we're on this call, it's uploading the file. And I think it's done. Let's go back and check. Yep, completely done. So now this is up on, so now not only is it saved, but it's up on in some other location. So even if the site goes down, site gets hacked, this is somewhere else, but here's where it's going to blow your mind. Because we can say, I'm going to log into this dentist site. Alright, so this dentist site, let's see what we had here. Give it a second to load. So remember that we had like this blue and white theme. And I said, well, I want to set up the dentist theme on here. Well, here's what we do. Is we log into the dashboard. And if Backup Creator's not there, all we need to know is what's that again? Plugins, add new. Okay. And for some reason, my internet connection is going real slow. All right. So we have, okay, so we have to add Backup Creator in here real quick. Since we just recently restored it. So let me go here, plugins, add new, and the site's going real slow for me today. All right. So what we're gonna do once this loads, plugins, add new, we'll add Backup Creator, and we can actually pull the backup down from this other FTP site. Oh man, there we go. So it was just going slow, and so yeah, Donna says the slow internet connection is from all of us wanting you to go a bit more slowly. That must be what it is. So we're going to go and upload this plugin from our site. Jeez, it is taking a while. So, all right, upload this new plugin once it actually loads for me. And here we go. Choose File. We'll add the Backup Creator plugin once again, install now, and then in a few seconds, then this will show up. Install plugins, upload plugin, come on. Is it just me? Oh yeah, so every site's kind of going slow for me right now. Alright, upload plugin, plugin's now been activated. Come on. Alright, so whatever Donna did slowed us down. So yeah, so what we're going to be doing once that finished loading is we're going to be talking about this whole idea of cloning templates. And that means that, well, a lot of people like Stuart, they didn't get this whole backup and restore thing until they said, aha, I can set up a template just for a membership site with it all configured the way I want it. I can set up a template for a content site configured totally the way I want it. And then I can just pick and choose which one I want to use. And let me actually see if updating WordPress makes a difference here with this site. So yeah, so Stuart said, so yeah, I can just create like a starting point, and I can even make several starting points depending on what kind of site I want to set up, and just use Backup Creator to pull it down and get it. Bill says, well, he likes the site to be secure, but he uses certain plugins, he makes certain changes to WordPress to make it secure, and instead of, once again, spending 45 minutes to get to that point, he sets it up, and then when he wants to have a new WordPress site, he does it. So let's do update automatically while that's going. Alright, so that's Bill. So even Sean here says that it used to take an hour or more, once again, to put in these plugins, change these settings, change this file, and now clicks a button, and now it's done, as long as we're not on a live webinar when my internet connection gets slowed down quite a bit. JP says he not only backs up sites, but he has created a template site with his favorite themes, plugins, pages, contact pages, disclaimer pages, all that good stuff. And then instead of having to make a big long checklist where you might miss steps, skip steps, do it wrong, it's set up, he backs it up, restores it, boom, now it's exactly the way that he wanted it to be. So this site seems to be taking forever. But so the idea here is, let me just show you on this. Oh, of course, when I'm ready to go, it's done. So what we're going to do actually is we're going to look at Backup Creator, and what's really cool is that, okay, so remember how we backed up this site somewhere else? We can click one button and we can see, well, we put it on this folder, but now we have a backup that I can restore from this other site. So imagine if you had in this folder, you had like backup dash dentist, backup dash chiropractor, backup dash orthodontist, backup dash eye doctor, and maybe it was even the same theme, but you just configured it based on with a different background graphic and all that kind of stuff. So let me see if now it looks like this it must be HostGator or something. Something's going real slow. But so the idea is that you can have this set up at different kinds of stuff. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen some of these themes, but there is a restaurant theme out there, and I haven't found it again. There's a restaurant theme where built into the theme, people can actually reserve a table from their website. And in this same theme, different employees can see who's showing up, who was a no-show, where people are sitting, all from freaking WordPress. They're the same kind of things with doctor's offices and all that. So we're going to check out Backup Creator, even though HostGator seems to be very, very slow at the moment. And what we're going to be able to do, if this loads in time, if not, then we won't be able to get to it. But what it can do is it can go to that FTP folder where we stored it off in the cloud and then pull it back down. And so, I mean, think about it. What if you had 10 different sites and you had them all backing up every day to this FTP server? Well, you could go here and all you'd have to know is your login, and you can access any of those backups from those 10 sites from any point in time and restore them any place that you want. Okay, pretty cool. And all you'd have to do is just go to Backups, restore using FTP, connect, and then here we go. It's all right here and here. Yeah, and that doesn't seem to be loading. Okay, so that's all some pretty cool stuff. And even Paulus here says that he usually builds 5 to 10 new sites every 2 years. I'm not sure if he's an SEO person or if he gets paid every single time, but he doesn't have to spend all day on it now. He can just say, here's my template, gonna back it up, maybe throw it on FTP, and then go here, pull it down from FTP, and then boom, now it's done. Dale says he manages 13 community sites, and they're all kind of similar, and all he has to do is just make his base, pretty much, make his template, back it up, restore it somewhere else, and now it's done. Now, Kevin says it used to take him 2 to 3 days to make an exact copy of WordPress doing it by hand, but now 2 or 3 hours to make 50 sites. This is not just one site, this is 50 different sites, and in 2 or 3 hours it was completely done. This other guy, 3/5, I don't know his exact name, but he bought Backup Creator, and then he got a client to clone, or he was able to clone 17 websites for a client for $300 a site. So here's my calculator, 300 times 17. So $5,000 for just clicking a button to backup and then going over and clicking the button to restore. Pretty cool stuff, right? And the whole time he could say, all right, well, now I'm going to give you a backup so you never lose it. I'm going to be backing it up daily, weekly, so you never ever lose your copy. So it looks like, yeah, I'm honestly not sure what's going on with this with HostGator right now, but for some reason this dentist blog does not seem to want to get it. But you guys get the idea here, where we can click a button, restore using FTP, connect, and then click this. As soon as we hit restore from backup, it'll pull this down from the FTP server, and now it's completely done. All right, so this even comes into play when you're selling websites. So Vincent, what he does is he makes pre-made templates, make it just the way that they want, and say, all right, here's exactly how it's going to look. Now, just buy it from me. And then what does he do? He'll just go in and he'll just log in. He'll go to membership newbie cPanel if it decides to load, and then he'll say, all right, so let's just say right now that I have WordPress, and let's say that he just sold a site to Mark. So let's see. He just makes a new site for Mark. Give me a second to pop and show the screen again. Yeah, real freaking slow. All right, so I'm going to put in my password. So let's say that we just sold the site to Mark, and he says, all right, why don't you set it up in this folder, this domain? I can say, sure, no problem. Plugins, add new. And then once we install the plugins, upload, and then backup creator, install the plugin. And actually, how about we time this, right? Let's do something fun here. Bring up my timer. Let's set this to be a stopwatch. Let's figure out how long it takes for me to get some instant cash flow. Let's say we sold a site, and on Flippa, there are sites that get sold every day for $500, $5,000 or more. And what we can do is really easy. Just go over to the settings, and let's say we just sold a site to Mark. I'm going to say I'm going to sell you this site with all this content, with this whole dentist theme, and as part of the package, I'm also going to set it up on your own site as well. So now we have this set up, and I'm just going to say, all right, let me just restore using FTP. I'm going to type in my login right here, and I know my password is 1234567. Just kidding. So if we connect, oh, did I not have it right? Membership. Oh, have this backwards. Thanks for that. So had this backwards. Make sure you have your password right. Otherwise, this isn't going to connect. So once this connects, here we go. So we found where we save this backup, and this could be a whole list of all the backups of all our sites. Click on this, and then restore from that backup. So before we restore it, let me just show you what's here. Okay, so we're going to look at Mark's site right here. And, oh man, yeah, HostGator is so slow today. So here's a site, nothing on it, usual blank stuff. Going to click on the one button, restore from backup. And so now it's going to be about under 2 minutes total once this grabs it from our FTP server, unpacks it, and installs it in just a few seconds. Now we'll be able to say, here you go, Mark. Here is the completely set up, completely restored website. And I mean, a lot of these people you sell websites to, they don't care that it took you a few seconds. They don't care that WordPress was all you had to do was just like click on their screens. They don't care that you just had to use this backup tool. All they care about is that they get the result, that they get a fully functional website that does what you said it did. All right, so it looks like we're going to go a little bit over 2 minutes since the website is slow. Okay, we're all done. So it looks like about 2 minutes and 5 seconds. We're going to refresh the page, and if all went well, fingers crossed here, we're going to have, here we go, this dentist website. And now it's all set for us to change up the title, change up the wording, the graphics, and all that good stuff. Okay, so I really hope that has been opening your eyes to a lot of these possibilities, like Ken here saw, where he built a demo site, showed it to clients, they got to see what they were going to get, and then once they agreed, he sets them up right there on the spot. Simon says, well, there's safety, but then he just sets it up, and then when he sells a site on Flippa, then it just simplifies the transfer to the new owner. Dr. Michael here is a chiropractor, and he has a working website. And so he goes to other chiropractors, maybe ones that specialize in different areas or different parts of the city or the country, and says, I've got this proven website model, and I want to set it up for you. They pay him a certain amount of money, and he goes and sets it up, and then backs up his own site, backs up client sites. Everybody wins, and all this is due to this one tool that it doesn't generate money on its own, but it shortcuts all the time and all the effort and all the mistakes you might have made doing it by hand. Lynn says, who's also on the call, sets up membership sites, Amazon sites, sites for book promotion, and she can make a new clone, but then has a done for you service. So for like $500 for a grant, click a button, backup, click a button, restore, and they don't have to know that it only took you under a minute to do all of it. David here, once again, says, this is a different David, says that he sets up sites, but his website creation skills pale in comparison. Well, no big deal, because this is just a theme. You'd be surprised at how many themes, how many plugins do all the work for you, and you can look like a genius, you can look like a total graphics designer, but you didn't have to do anything. Roger Isak, who's on the call too, he backs up sites and installs them and then translates them into a new language. So pretty cool way of kind of finding your own niche there. And that's why I'm fine with sharing all these secrets, with showing you all these things people do, because depending on who you are, you have all these different ways to make instant cash flow. Some of you guys set up local business sites. Some of you provide backup services. Some of you set up membership sites. Some of you do things in specific niches like that chiropractor did. Some of you guys do translators like Roger Isaac. So there are all kinds of ways that you need to be using websites right now. And there are 6 ways to profit today using Backup Creator. First of all, we'll backup and restore your site for safekeeping. I mean, do it right now. Do it today before you do anything else after getting off this call, because you're going to wish that you had if something goes wrong. I mean, I really hope everything goes fine, but it's worth it to put in those couple of minutes, couple of seconds, just to store your backup, put it somewhere safe so that you never have to worry about it ever again. Okay, so backup and restore your site for safekeeping. Now, if you have the developer version of Backup Creator, you can backup sites for clients. I mean, that's a really cool, easy service to offer, especially if you go to offline businesses. They have no problem paying you a couple $100 a month to get their site hosted, to keep it backed up, to keep it safe, and then it's all taken care of. Now, I hope you don't get hacked, but if you do, you saw that it's super easy to take any kind of backup you have stored in your email, on your FTP site, on your hard drive, put it online without having to know FTP, without having to know anything. I mean, if your site's been hacked, just throw it away and restore from an old version, because you don't know what's been broken, what's been messed with, and you don't know if they've kept anything in there that'll come back to hurt you later. Like sometimes they'll hack your site, keep a little spy in there, and then if you change your password or rebuild your site, they'll go back into it again. So it's way better just to throw the whole thing out and restore from an earlier version before it was hacked. And now you'll never have to lose any copy of your site again, because you can automatically back up your site using Backup Creator Ultimate. Check a box. Now it's done. Now you don't have to worry about it. You can have it where every day it sends you an email with an attachment and uploads FTP and stores it on your website as well. Now, many people have said they've created a safe place to test changes. They'll set up a site. They'll say, maybe I want to see how this looks with this plugin. They'll make a backup. If everything looks good, they'll back it back up onto where it was, and now the site is working just fine. Now, you can take one website that works very well for you and clone it, copy it for someone else. You can set up a membership site exactly the way you want, clone it for someone else, and even if you sell a website, make money instantly from that, you can say, all right, I'm going to transfer the site to you really easily. Takes you a couple of seconds. Now it no longer takes all day. Remember how at the beginning here we said $1,000 is $1,000? So for most of you, getting $1,000, even if it took you all day, it'd be worth it. But now, if it took you a couple minutes, couple seconds for $1,000, no one cares how much work or how much time you put into it. They just care that it got done, and Backup Creator Ultimate will help you get it done, because you can run unlimited backups on unlimited sites, make a copy, clone, duplicate, whatever you want to call it, to a new WordPress site. You saw how we were easily able to transfer it to a new server in 30 seconds or less. We could back up every one of our backups to a FTP location, so that you can have a list of just like a master, I guess, like storage facility for all of your daily or weekly or one-time backups. You can grab any of those down to any other site you set up. You can upload it using your web browser. You can automatically do it. We're going to give you a year of updates and new features, all for a total value today of $876. But guess what? You don't have to pay that. So for Backup Creator, to easily backup and restore an unlimited number of WordPress blogs, keep your settings, themes, and plugins, and move backups onto other servers. This is big, because I've seen many other backup solutions say, oh yeah, we backup and we restore, but if you restore somewhere else, it's suddenly no longer going to work. Now the tabs, the navigation will no longer work. But with Backup Creator, it will actually move. It actually has the extra stuff in there that makes it able to clone. You can do it quickly in under 30 seconds by just moving server to server. No FTPing required. Click a button, now it's copied for just $197. So Backup Creator Ultimate, it's the same quick, reliable, compatible backup software you love from Backup Creator with a server-to-server fast transfer, but now automatic backups, backup as an email attachment, backup to FTP, backup from FTP, restore from your browser without having to know FTP, all for just $147. And some of you guys might be thinking, well, Is $147 a fair price? And I'm going to say no. I'm going to say $147 is not an unfair price. And by that, I mean that it really isn't fair that it only takes you a few seconds to back up and clone a website, and it takes other people days or weeks or months to do the same thing. It's not fair, but life's not fair, and luckily you found us. Luckily you found Backup Creator. You can click a button, and now it's done for you, and everyone else has to spend all day doing it the hard way, doing it the old-fashioned way, but you have the right tool for the right job. Okay, so do it in a few seconds instead of days, and we've been improving this, making it better for almost a year now. It's almost a year in the making. And you can now log in and grab the latest version anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we're going to release our very special, it's been available for 6 months to the public discount. So it's just $97 today to backup, clone, and protect your site. So we know that you want this. We know you want to never lose a file again, to back up your sites and be able to roll back anytime. We both know you want this, to be able to instantly set up a duplicate site or move a site or make a testing site. And you both know you want this, to get paid $50 to set up WordPress in seconds, to get paid up to $4,000 as we've talked about, to set up a membership site and get it all configured correctly. Do it once and now just clone it somewhere new. So for just $67 at backupcreator.com, you can claim your copy right now instantly today. But I'm still not done, because I honestly want you to jump on this right now. And you might have heard this saying, if you can't decide, someone else will decide for you. If you can't decide if you're going to have the money or the time to back up your site, you won't get backed up, and now you're going to be insecure. If you can't decide if you're going to set up websites for someone else, well then someone else will get to them before you. So I want you to use this right now today, even just to back up your site today, and then tomorrow start looking into cloning sites. Maybe the day after look into, now how can I get paid, how can I get some instant cash flow, set this up for someone else. So we're going to offer today our very special discount, because Backup Creator is now protecting almost 20,000 sites. So this is not even $197, not $147, not $97, not $67. It's just $57. So go right now to backupcreator.com. That's www.backupcreator.com right now to back up your blog before something happens to it. That's your homework assignment right now today, is to get Backup Creator and then very quickly back up your blog, because you don't know. You don't know if your site will go down this afternoon, tonight, tomorrow, the next day, a week, a month, a year. You never know, so don't worry about it. Just be able to sleep at night now, back to your blog, now it's taken care of. It's your insurance policy to have a backup to restore and set up that membership site, sales letter, squeeze page, logo theme, whatever it is, either back on your site or somewhere now instead. So it's just $47. Let's go here right now. Let's go to www.backupcreator.com, backupcreator.com, and as this site loads, you can see we're very, very close to 20,000 sites being protected. Maybe you'll be number 20,000. I'm really looking forward to seeing us cross over that barrier. So it's backupcreator.com. Get it right now. Backupcreator.com, just $47. So go there, backupcreator.com, check out the video, click on Buy Now, just $47 to be able to back up an unlimited number of backups on as many sites as you own. That's backupcreator.com to back up, clone, and protect your WordPress sites. My name is Robert Plank, and thank you.